What if there was a podcast where one NFL legend talked about football? What about two NFL legends? This is Wideout's World, where the gridiron comes alive. NFL legends Irving Fryar and Michael Timpson, breaking down the game from the ultimate insider perspective. Game recaps, upcoming previews, and exclusive analysis straight from the minds of those who've been in the trenches. Wideout's World. Let's do it.
Are you ready for some football?
We're ready for some football, baby.
Ready for some football, baby. Ready for some football. I didn't turn my mic up. Ready for some football. What's good, Mike? How you doing?
Hey, man. Happy to be on this side of the on the surface.
Side of the dirt.
Happy to be alive. Yes, sir.
Be on this side of the dirt. What's good, everybody? This is Wideout's World. This is Wow. I'm Irving Fryar. It's Michael Timpson to my to my left over there. It's my partner, co-founder and co-chair and co-everything here at Wideout's World. We got a guest for you today.
Yes, sir.
We're going to get into our format. We try to follow format. Mike is very strict like that. He wants to be very organized. We're probably going to get out of the format today because our guest, we want to make sure you all hear as much information about him as possible. You probably saw it on the post leading up to tonight's show. He is Mr. Mark Clayton. Let me just bring him in. Let's bring him in. Don't say anything yet, Mark, because I got some stats I need to talk about for you real quick. But what's up, Mark?
Bring him in.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? How you guys doing?
Yeah, he's doing. You looking good, man. Listen, this is Mark Clayton for anybody. First, Mark Gregory Clayton. Yeah, Gregory Clayton. For anybody that doesn't know, 8th round draft choice in 1983 to Miami Dolphins. Out of Louisville. Yeah, he spent 11 years in the NFL, 11 seasons, 10 with the Miami Dolphins, 1 with the Green Bay Packers, 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time NFL receiving touchdown leader. He's been inducted into the Kentucky Pro Football Hall of Fame, 582 receptions, 8,974 yards, 84 touchdowns, and he still holds the record for career pass receptions and touchdowns with the Miami Dolphins. That is Mark Clayton's in the house. What's going on, baby?
Hey. There it is.
See,
Irv, you forgot the Dolphins Ring of Honor.
Oh, he's in the Dolphins Ring of Honor too. Yeah,
man.
Yeah. Good to see you, man. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be here, man. And as Michael said, it's good to be on this side of the divot.
There you go, brother.
Listen, you're not home right now. You live, you don't live in Indianapolis. I'm not gonna tell everybody where they live in case somebody who's watching right now is a hater. They try to look you up. But you happen to be in Indianapolis right now because you're being honored by your high school after 46 years?
46 years, yes, sir.
What are they honoring you? You going to the Hall of Fame? What's happening?
It's called a Circle of Excellence. I don't know exactly the whole detail of it, but they called me and told me that they would like to honor me, and I graciously accepted.
Okay.
Wow. What are they gonna give you? Will they give you a T-shirt? They gonna give you a jacket? What they gonna give you?
They give you a medal.
Okay. Are you happy about it? Are you happy about it?
Well, I figure I'm grateful for the award, and like you said, after 46 years, since I was the very first athlete there in that school's history to go pro in anything. So wow. I felt like, I felt like I'll gratefully accept this honor right here. It took 46 years, and hey, I played 3 sports there for them for 4 years. So hey. I'll take this honor.
Wait, 3 sports? What were the sports? 3 sports.
Basketball, track, and football.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I wasn't like you, Michael. I didn't run any running events. I was a field event guy. Long jump, high jump, and triple jump.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Triple jump.
And went to the state in those events we didn't even have a practice facility, a track at our school. So when I went to the meet, that's when I got my practice in. And like I said, I went to the state 2 years without any practice except for when we go to the meets.
That's an
Just
athlete
a
right
natural athlete. I mean,
there. Yeah.
that's unheard. That's unheard of these days. You know, they have state of the art facilities, and you know, kids are being trained with individual trainers, specialized positions, and things like that. That's just raw talent right there, and that just kind of leads to my next question, because I was doing a little research on you. I didn't know, because you came in the league the year before I did. I didn't know you got your first touchdown as a punt returner, man.
I did.
I didn't know that. I didn't know you were a punt returner. I returned punts for 8 years. I didn't even know you were a punt returner. How'd that go about? You just they weren't giving you much time as a receiver your rookie year, but they were giving you all the time as a punt returner.
No, that's not how that worked out. I really kind of made the team as a special teams player.
Okay.
Because we were pretty heavy with the veterans at the wide receiver position, and I made the team as running down as a flyer on the covering punts and running down as the ball guy on the kickoff coverage.
See,
right
Mark,
there.
Irv didn't do that. Irv didn't do that. I did the same thing. Irv didn't do that. He didn't have to do that. I had to.
He didn't have to. Well, when you're the number one overall pick, you're not asked. You don't have to do that.
Well, wait a minute. But what I did do, yes, I did start at wide receiver, but I did also start at punt returner. They don't do that today.
We ain't counting that. We talking about.
I was a punt returner and starting wide receiver for 8 years in the NFL.
Hey,
I feel you, Mark. I didn't get I got those punts because opening day, my rookie season, Tommy Vigorito, rest his soul, just passed not long ago. He had the punts, so he blew his ACL out in that game right there. And shortly thereafter, the next series, offensive series or so, Jimmy Cephalo tore his ACL as well. So here I am. I got all the punts after he tears his ACL, goes down. And then I'm coming in on third down as the third down wide receiver before Marino touches the field. He wasn't out there yet. And before Duper got out there on the field. So I was playing as a rookie before those guys stepped out on the field. But then midway through the season, that's when Duper and Dan started the second half of the Saints game. And then the following week, they started their first regular season game. And in that game right there, their first starts, Dan threw 4 touchdown passes, and I think I threw a touchdown pass before I caught my first touchdown pass. In that same game, I threw a touchdown to Duper that game.
Wow. That's one of the 80. You have 84, I said touchdown, but you got 86 because you got one as a punt returner and one as throwing the ball.
That's right.
Yeah, so you account for 86. Listen, Billy Bell is in the house. What's going on, Billy Bell? PJ Dolan is in the house. That's Mayor PJ, I should say. Eddie Casper is in the house. Good seeing you guys. Yes, Mark Clayton is half of the Marx brothers. This is the Mark Clayton. This is not Mark Duper, but yes, it's those guys that used to terrorize us at the New England Patriots. We used to hate y'all, man. Y'all used to kill us. We couldn't stop you and Dan and Mark Duper. We couldn't stop.
Until that AFC Championship game when y'all beat us to go to New Orleans, then that's when the tables turned.
Right.
When y'all start killing us then.
Right.
From that point on.
Yeah. We there were some good games. We'd always play twice a year, and obviously that last game of the season down in Miami. And I used to love to come down there because it was warm. It was cold in New England by then, and it was warm down there, man. Listen, we have a format that we normally go through, but I want to ask you a few questions. Is that all right, Mike? You got a couple of questions you want to ask Mark?
I got a couple. I'll wait. You're done.
Okay, and anybody who's listening right now, we got a few people who are on right now. Stuart Winrow's in the house. You got a question for Mark? We want to interact with you. We told you that the last time we were on the show. Write a capital Q, semicolon, and ask your question. That Q will catch my eye as I'm looking at all the comments, and I will be able to ask your question. If it's for me, it's for Mike, but surely you want to ask. My mama's in the house. Mark, mama said hi.
Hey, tell her hi.
She can hear you. She's watching right now.
Hey, Mom. How you doing, Mom?
So if you have a question for him, just write a Q, capital Q, semicolon, and then we'll get the question to Mark. So back in the day, we only had to catch about 70 balls to get to the Pro Bowl. Back in it, that's what you caught 70 balls, you were doing it. You caught 75, you were killing it. There wasn't anybody catching 80 balls. What do you think about that today with today's game and today's receivers and how offenses are throwing the ball first in order to set up the run? What do you think about that?
Well, I think about if I was playing in this game right here, I would get more than 4 or 5 targets a game. I know that because me and Duper and I, we say, well, damn, some of these receivers now are getting 10, 12, 15 targets a game. I was like, I can only imagine the kind of numbers I could put up now with all those targets and potential catches that I would have.
But
that's the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
The game has changed, but hey, I just can only imagine on the numbers that I could put up in this kind of game when they really can't touch you now.
But they're only averaging, most guys they're averaging less than 10 yards a catch, which is unheard of too when we played. You had to we were averaging 15, 17, 18 yards a catch. Now they're only averaging, the game has shifted, the way they call the game, the routes and all have shifted. And guys are only averaging, they're catching 110 balls, but they're averaging 10 yards a catch.
Yeah, you're right. And also I saw when the Dolphins were playing Thursday, they spit out a stat, the commentator spit out a stat that Tua was averaging negative point something yards for the game. And this was in the third quarter. And they said out of the 12 to 15 pass attempts, 9 to 10 of them were behind the line of scrimmage.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
my God.
Losing yards.
Yeah.
Losing yards. That's what I was telling some of the guys here. I was looking at the game. What I was saying, man, some of these right here, I would contemplate, dropping the ball because I wouldn't want to lose yardage for catching a dang on pass.
Killing your stats.
Well, listen, at least they put up a fight. I was not expecting them to put up a fight this past week against the Bills. I was expecting Miami to get killed, and I was expecting Mike McDaniels to be fired by now. And that's why one of the reasons I want to have you on the show so we can talk about it. But I mean, do you follow the Dolphins? I know you don't live in Miami right now, but do you follow the Dolphins? And what's your opinion, man, if you do, about how they've been struggling? What's going on with Mike McDaniel? Like I said, yes, they did. It was good to see them put up a fight, at least to have some kind of pride about themselves and not let the Bills or have to go up to the Bills and get run over. Mm-hmm. They at least, tried to have some pride and put out a good showing.
Yeah, I'm a football fan, and I do follow the Dolphins, but sometimes, the way they play, make me think like, why are you following them? But
no, that's the Dallas fans. That's the Dallas fans.
Yeah, true. That is true. But I still follow them, and I think some of this right here, when they first came out of the gate against the Colts, and they just really looked really bad against Indianapolis.
Right.
And I attributed that right there because, most of the teams in the league now don't play their starters in the preseason.
Right.
That's what we're talking about.
And I feel like that, you cannot replicate game speed in practice.
Right.
So you guys are very aware of that too. So so when they are thrown out there in the fire in week 1 or 2, that's just really like preseason game 1, 2.
Yeah.
They're getting the feel, back, getting their feet back up underneath them, getting back into the flow of the game, getting the feel of the speed of the game. But
right.
So they gotta really expect that that they're gonna. Okay. Most of these clubs are gonna. Some of them stepped out and like they hadn't missed a beat, but very few of them came out firing out on all cylinders out of the gate because they don't play. I don't feel like they get enough time in the preseason. So
okay, we're 3 weeks. We're 3 weeks in, Mark. So how many more weeks is it going to take the Dolphins?
No, they should be ready now. It's 2 weeks right there. I think everybody should be at full speed. Football speed right now because, like you said, it's the 3rd week right here, so it's time.
Right.
And as far and look, you saw the Dolphins; they even played much better Thursday. I felt like that they were. I didn't really give them much chance to win, but I kind of figured that they were going to play them tough because you guys know as well that divisional opponents. Hey, You
Right.
know, that's a different beast. When you
Mm-hmm.
play each other twice a year in a game, then neither game is going to be a blowout because both teams know each other very well.
Right. Right. Yeah. I think, eventually, given the fact that the starters don't play, because when we played, there was 4 preseason games. The starters, the starters in the first preseason game, we played the first quarter. Starters in the second preseason game, we played up until the first half. Played the first half. Starters in the third preseason game, we came out after halftime and played through a series, and then that was it. 4 preseason game, starters didn't play. That's the way we got ourselves ready, and we were ready by the time the first regular season game kicked off. Now it takes, like we just talked about, like you just said, Mark, it takes 2-3 games in the regular season, even though they have a preseason, for things to get underway, for guys to get in some kind of flow with one another, because none of the starters play during the preseason. They should literally do away with the preseason. But they have the preseason to make money, sell tickets, have people come.
That's right.
They went down to 3. They went down to 3, so they might be on their way.
Well, they say they use the joint practices with other teams as their measuring stick to get them ready. But even that's controlled. It's not all out full speed, tackling all the way to the ground. It's still controlled. It's still a controlled environment. It's not like a game.
A scripted practice.
Yes. Yeah, with a little contact. Scripted practice with a little contact. So listen, Mark, we're going to have you chime in with us in our little script today. Here, one of the first things we always talk about, and if you have something, or you can just chime in with what Mike and I are going to say, we talk about news of the week. If there's something in the NFL or maybe something crazy in the world that took place, it has to be, we try to center it around sports, football. Yeah. But if there's something that's going on, we try to talk about it at the beginning of the show. So I'm going to ask Mike if he's got something that he wants to talk about in terms of the news of the week. I got what I want to talk about, and you just chime in with us, Mark. All right. You're a part of the show today. You do your thing. All right. So anytime you feel like it, you feel like it, interrupt us and jump in.
You feel froggy, jump. Okay.
All right,
so here it is. This new kickoff. Okay. So I'm watching this new kickoff because, like you, Mark, we talked about special teams. I was like the number 5 on the kickoff team. So I had to go down there and go through the wedge. They don't have that anymore.
Wedge
Guys
buster.
don't even move. They don't even move. The guy kicks the ball and everybody's standing still. It's almost like that electric football that we all grew up with the guys that was like this, and the guy was like running like this, and you had to push the button to make it go. And then when that broke, you had to hit it with your hand to make a move.
Yep.
That's what this looks like now. I'm sitting here like watching the kickoff. I understand why they did it. I just don't. I'm not a fan of it, and it's helping. It's but it's so different than the game that we grew up knowing. So the kickoff for me is just I'm not so sure about it.
Were there that many injuries? I mean, I don't remember a whole lot of seeing a whole lot of injuries in terms of kickoffs.
No, I mean somehow they came up with this stat that they wanted to cut down on the injuries. But I remember us sprinting down 40 yards and we had to go through. That was football.
Right.
But now it's this whole wait he catch the ball, now go. It's just not.
Yeah, kickoffs and punt returns are 2 of the parts of special teams that are exciting. Field goals and extra points, that's okay unless they get blocked and running for a touchdown. But kickoffs and punt returns were an exciting part of special teams, and they were game changers because you could create field position for your offense and shift the momentum in the game.
Yeah. So it's different.
You guys, like I said, I was running down on kickoff. You know how many games I had to do that after that first game right there. Like I told you guys, I was the ball guy, right? So that's when they could develop the wedge right there, and they had crazy guys, but it wasn't me to go down there and bust the wedge. So I'm the first one down there, right? And the first person I see is Daryl Talley.
Oh,
and I'm like, man, this guy is a giant compared to me. So me, I didn't take him on. He didn't even have to block me. I ran around him, and then the coverage came right where I was, and then I had Eddie Hill all in my ear. Clayton, take him off. I said, man, are you out of your mind, bro? This guy's like 225, 230. I'm a $160 soaking wet. You think I'm gonna take this guy on? Man, get out of here. So after I started returning the punts and coming on third down, and they saw my effort right there on those kickoff coverages, they said, nah, this ain't the guy.
You gotta stay in your lane.
I could be the flyer on the punts now. I can handle that.
You're supposed to stay in your lane, Mark. You're supposed to stay in your lane.
No, not me. No.
You know what?
You're supposed to stay in your lane, but I didn't stay in my lane.
Now, I'm laughing for those of you. I know Mark, so I'm laughing because that's Mark. That's Mark. Oh, no, I'm not doing that.
Nah.
I'm not doing that.
But in those preseason when I felt like that I was on the borderline of making the team, I was running through those guys then because I was trying to make that team. So I was doing it then. I was taking them on then.
Yeah.
And end up leading the team in special team tackles in the preseason. I'm trying to make the team. I don't care.
Well, you made it, brother, and you did beyond that. That's for sure. For sure. So my news of the week is this. It's been kind of quiet. It was, I guess it made a lot of noise or got a lot of attention early on in the season, during the draft and right after the draft. But my news of the week is Travis Hunter. He's kind of, people are not really talking about him anymore. But this young man, he's playing on both sides of the ball. When he got drafted, there was a scuttlebutt about, okay, they're not going to play him on both sides. They're not going to do that. He can't do that in the NFL. It's a different game. It's a different level, so on and so forth. But this young man, and they're keeping track of how many times, how many reps he has in practice and how many reps he has in the game. But week 2, he had 85 reps in the game on offense and defense. He had 42 offensive plays and 43 defensive plays. They lost to the Bengals 31-27, but he's out there playing both ways. And then that was week 2. Then week 3 against the Texans, he played and had 74 snaps, 43 on defense, and he led the team in tackles. He had 7 tackles. Didn't cover very well. They had 4 targets at him, and the receivers caught 4 passes, so he didn't cover very well. But he had 7 tackles. He had 74 total plays in week 3. So he's playing both sides. Again, like I said, they're monitoring him in practice. They're monitoring him in the games, and they seem to say that things are going to work for him, that it's going to continue, and that he's going to get more offensive snaps because he got a couple of receivers that are down and that aren't playing very well. So we're not hearing much about it, but listen, he's the first one to do it since the Super Bowl era. There's nobody that's come in that is desired to do that, play both ways. Yes, Dion did. They sprinkled him in on offense every now and then, but it wasn't a consistent thing like it is with Travis.
My question to you, how long do you think he can do this? He's doing this now because what is he, 20, 23, little young?
Yeah. I'm surprised. Well, the thing about it, the reason why I'm surprised is, he's 22, 23 years old right now, and he does it now. When he's 25, he's going to be like he's 30 if he keeps doing it.
Mm-hmm. That's correct. So,
he's going to be like he's 30 because you can't.
I hope they just don't wear him down to where if they finally come to their senses and say, well, let's just put him just on one side and not give him as many reps, and we can maybe get the maximum out of his ability just playing one side of the ball, and just go ahead and pay somebody else to do what they like we've been doing, just to play one position. But I'm wondering, did they double his salary for playing both sides?
No, they ain't double it. But that's his montage. That's what he says. He wants to play both ways, and that was his plea to all the teams who were considering drafting him before he got drafted. Well, listen, if I come there, I want to play on both sides. We'll see. Right. I'm like the both of you. It's a different level.
I remember that guy what's that guy that played for New England? Troy something. Was it Troy? And he
Brown.
played both sides.
Troy Brown.
Troy Brown.
That was spot duty. But
Yeah.
I mean, that was spot duty with Troy Brown. But this guy, Irv, they threw him 2 passes. He had 2 targets last week. They're wasting their time on offense. You know how many receptions he has for this year? 10.
Well,
they're wasting their time. Just put him on defense at corner and be done.
Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown ain't that far ahead of him. They're not that far ahead of him.
0 touchdowns.
Well, and you know, my opinion, you guys probably would agree with me, and that is if you're making a lot of tackles, that's wearing on you more than anything else. As a small guy trying to tackle tight ends and trying to tackle bigger wide receivers and trying to tackle running backs, having to do that on a consistent basis, that wears more on you than running down the field, catching the ball and getting hit.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So I mean, for me, it's news because it's happening. I really didn't think that they would play him that many snaps on offense and on defense. You know, he's getting 40 snaps on defense and 40 snaps on offense. That's a full game right there.
That is.
That's a full game. 80 plays. And you know, offensively or defensively in a game, yeah, you may average 70. You may get 75 plays if you're, you know, you get the ball a few times in a game, offensively or defensively. But man, to do that on a consistent basis, and just think about the preparation that he undergoes, learning the plays on offense, learning the new schemes on defense, whatever it is they change from week to week. He has to internalize all of that and get it to the point to where it happens second nature for him. And he's not thinking about it like we did with our plays. So, I mean, hats off to him. Hats off to him. If he's playing both sides, hats off to him. He's not making any mistakes. He may not be the best at his position offensively or defensively, and he plays in the slot on offense. He's not one of the wide receivers that plays out and runs a lot of deep routes, but he's playing in the slot as the third receiver.
Well, his next 4 games, 49ers, Chiefs, Seahawks, and Rams. We're going to find out real quick.
So you're going to find out real quick, huh? Oh, the mess going to be gone. The next segment of our show, Mark, we talk about our top 3 wide receivers of the week. Our top 3 wide receivers of the week. So you have a favorite wide receiver that's playing right now in the NFL? Somebody you like to watch, get excited when he's playing?
There's a couple of those 2 fellas from LSU are pretty good. They're Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. I like both of their games.
Okay, yeah.
I like Nico Collins for the Texans. I like his game.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I think the wide receiver positions are, really they are the cream of the crop right now on all these teams. You got to have a good number one to move that offense. I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Because, but see, now everybody saw what Saquon Barkley did last year, so they're going to try to incorporate their running game more than they've ever done it before, because everybody was throwing the ball all over the yard before they saw, Saquon get 2,000 and Derrick Henry get 1,900 yards. So they figure and their offenses, they move the ball, they control the ball, ball control,
right,
with control the time of the game possession of the game. So to save their defense, if their defense is not that good, so if you run the ball, then you control the time of possession right there. Keep their defense on the sideline. But man, I love watching the game right here because it's right up my alley. It's a pass happy league, and I love it.
Yeah. Keenan McCardle is the receivers coach for the Vikings, and I got a chance to talk to him last year when the Vikings came here to Philadelphia, and he says that Justin Jefferson is the truth.
Yeah.
And if Keenan McCardle says that, and we all know who Keenan is,
real deal.
He's the real deal. Yeah, Keenan Keenan knows because Keenan was quite the player himself. So, right. Mike, give us your top 3 receivers for the week.
Okay, top 3 for the week. My number 3 is a guy that nobody knows who he is, but he led the league He led the league this week in receptions, and his name's Trey Tucker from Las Vegas. Little guy, nobody knows anything about. Scored 3 touchdowns. Trey Tucker, 3 touchdowns. He had 9 targets, 8 receptions for 145 yards, averaging 18 yards a shot.
There you go.
The game was pretty much over. That's why I'm giving him the 3rd slot. Even though he led the league this week, I'm giving him the 3rd slot because the game was pretty much over. But, he had some mop-up wins. My number 2 is Ricky Purcell, the second-year receiver out of Florida. He had a 4th and 2 over-the-shoulder catch, which you guys will appreciate. You know how they have with practice fields, they have that line close to the sideline that you're not supposed to go outside, so you want to give the quarterback a target to place the ball. It was 4th and 2, over-the-shoulder catch, kept the DB on his left-hand side and caught the ball over here. Just textbook work as a wide receiver, how you catch the deep ball and keep the guy on your hip so your ball can be placed over here. So Ricky Purcell, I like him. He was the one that got shot last year, but he's coming back. He had 8 receptions for 117 yards. And my number 1 is A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown had a whole stank attitude second half. Like, get off me. I mean, he was just catching the ball. Get off me. And he played with an attitude. And it just goes to show you they need to get him the ball more often than they're doing. And, last time he made a stink, they did that. And I think that'll happen weeks coming up. So A.J. Brown's my number 1, 6 catches for 109 yards.
Yep. So my number 3 is A.J. Brown. And yeah, he was ragdolling Emmanuel Forbes, just catching the ball. Emmanuel Forbes was all over him, just draped all over him. He's sticking his hands out, strong hands, catching the ball out in front of him, and then throwing it. I mean, it was ridiculous. It looked like a little kid trying to hold on to his father. He just ragdolled him and threw him off and ran down the field. Did it a couple of times. And yes, he did have an attitude, and that changed because I went to that game. We'll talk about it later on because we're going to go do a recap of the game. But I went to that game, and the second time the offense had the ball, the second offensive possession, on the 3rd down, A.J. Brown lined up on the left, and he's out there like throwing his hands up like he doesn't know what the play is. And they were that discombobulated, and the ball was snapped. He just stood there.
No,
because he didn't do anything. He just stood there, didn't do a thing. Really? And what a difference! Wow. What a turn in difference in the second half. A.J. Brown is 6 catches, 109 yards. They were a mess the first half. My number 2 is Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua was in that same game. Puka Nacua had 11 receptions, 112 yards, no TDs. But man, watching that young man, now remember his rookie year, he broke the rookie receiving record his rookie year. Mm-hmm. It was broken again by Neighbors last season. But before that, Puka Nacua had the rookie receiving record. That cat is a grown man. Matthew Stafford was throwing him the ball in traffic. Matthew Stafford was throwing him the ball when he was covered. Matthew Stafford was throwing him the ball when they needed a first down, and he was making most of his catches were contested, and he was making catches and getting hit and getting up and going back to just a tough kid, doing what he needed to do, making himself available, selflessly playing for his team, giving up his body, and man, he's a baller. He's a baller. Had I not watched him in person the other day and seen what he does and how much that team depends on him and how he comes through nearly 95% of the time. I mean, we're all not perfect, but man, Puka Nacua is the dude. You hear me? He's the dude. He's for real. He's for real. So my number 1 is the Trey Tucker, the one Mike talked about, the one nobody knows about. 41-24 loss against Washington, 8 receptions, 145 yards, 3 touchdowns, impressive 18.1 average. Now, here's one of the other reasons why he's my number 1. He got 8 receptions. He was targeted 9 times.
Wow.
So targeted 9 times, caught 8 of them. So he's a 3rd round pick out of Cincinnati in 2023. So he's been in the league. This is his 3rd year. In 2023, he played 16 games. He caught 19 balls, 2 touchdowns. 2024, he played 17 games. He caught 47 balls and 3 touchdowns. And right now in 2025, He's played 3 games. He's got 13 receptions and 4 touchdowns. So I'm impressed with the development and how, having been given the opportunity, we've got Geno out there throwing the ball over the place. Having been given the opportunity, he's developing. Now he runs a 4.3 40, but Dupe understands. I'm calling him Dupe. Clayton understands this. He's 5'9", 182 pounds.
Okay.
So Mark can identify with him. So guys like that for me, who, like Mark said, dudes is 225 pounds, 250 pounds. You got to navigate through that kind of stuff in order to maintain and stay on the field and be productive. Those cats got to be elusive. They got to be smart. They got to know when and when not, when to duck, when to run, when to jump, all of that. Otherwise, you can't take too many hits from bigger guys like that. You won't last very long. So he's my guy. I look forward to hearing more from him in the games to come for the rest of the season. Trey Tucker.
I'm gonna keep my eye on him. I'm gonna keep him now that he's both on you guys' radar. So I gotta check him out.
Yeah, Trey
I gotta
Tucker.
keep my eye on the young fella.
Geno's out there throwing that ball, man, with the Raiders.
Okay.
He throw it too. He said he don't get shy.
No, he don't be shy. He'll try to fit it in a little small hole. Geno don't care. What he got to lose? He done made his money. So here we go with our next segment of the show. We do a recap, and you'll be able to chime in on this, Mark, because I'm sure you were watching these games. So our first recap is a recap of the Eagles-Rams game. That was just ridiculous. You want to talk about that first, Mike? Or Mark, either one of y'all? I was at the game, but go ahead. Y'all go ahead.
So here's the thing. Go ahead, Mark. You're the guest. Go ahead, Mark.
Well, you know what though? I was peeping at the game, and I thought that the first half that Philly was sleepwalking out there on both sides of the ball. Excuse me. And then, like you said, the second half they woke up, and finally Mr. Brown said, I haven't had two games where I haven't produced, so now just give me the opportunity. And Hurts, and he was on the same page. And the second half, man, they just came alive offensively and defensively. They came up out there sleepwalk saying that, we are the defending champions, so let's play like it. But they're not going to be able to get away with that every game playing like that, because, somebody's just going to go ahead and just, when they got them down, just keep their foot on their neck.
Right.
So, but I tell people, they ask me, who you like this year? I've always said, to be the champs, you got to beat the champs. And they are the team to beat until they are out of it completely. So they're the best. They're one of the best teams out there, if not the best team. Everybody thought that Green Bay was going to be looking good because they won the first 2 games, but they didn't look that good yesterday. So,
I don't know what happened to them yesterday.
I don't know what happened to them yesterday, because Cleveland was not having any of that.
Wow. And Cleveland's not necessarily, in my opinion, a top-tier team.
They're not.
They
played like it yesterday, though.
Yeah. And they say any given Sunday. That's Sunday. Right. Mike?
That's right.
All right. So it's interesting. When I talked to you, you told me you were at the game, so you had a bird's eye view. No pun intended. So here's the thing.
It was.
Here's the thing. If I were to ask both of you, what is the formula for Philadelphia offensively, what would you tell me?
I say to control the line of scrimmage. They control
and run
the line
the ball.
and run the ball.
And
run the ball. That's right.
So here's a couple of things to keep in mind. You have a new offensive coordinator. Doggone well, Sirianni done told him, keep it tight. Don't do too much. Don't get too crazy. Use the same game plan that made us the world champions. So I'm not surprised they're not winging the ball all over the place. However, after watching some clips of that game and the game, what they did? They dared them to throw the ball. They went man to man and they stacked the box, because they're like, Saquon blitzes for 255 one game. He blitzes for 205 another game. he ain't gonna get us this time. So they put everybody in the block and dared him to throw the ball. And don't you know it? I'm surprised that Devontae Smith and AJ didn't strike on the sideline once they saw that they were playing the man-to-man.
Go on strike.
I'm surprised they just said, you know what? I ain't going back out there. So that's the formula right there. That teams are going to do that because you got a $2,000 yard rusher in the backfield. So they're telling you you're going to have to beat us out here. Now here's one thing, and I'll yield the floor. They don't trust Jalen Hurts as much as people think. I just don't think so, because they don't just let him just play and just do that, because they want to control the game. They want him to be a manager more so than an explosive player, in my opinion. I yield the floor.
And like you say though, these teams now they're smart enough to realize what their game plan is, and like you said, they're gonna dare. They're gonna say, Jalen Hurts, if you can beat us, be my guest. And they're gonna put 8-9 men in the box saying, Saquon, you will not beat us.
He had 46 yards.
So, but they got he got great weapons out there, man, to utilize, man. So.
Right.
If they, take the leash off him and let Jalen cook a little bit, I think that they'll be all right, because then they'll open that box back up, and they have to go out there in coverage.
Right.
Yes, sir.
You start killing them outside.
So I left the game with 2 minutes to go in the first half, and I don't ever stay for the whole game anyway, because I can't stand traffic. A matter of fact, I'm gonna stop going to games because I almost got hit twice leaving the game at halftime. I'm not going to any more games because people can't drive.
Uber.
It's
Uber.
I'm not Ubering either. I can't do all those people. There's too many people. I can't deal with it. So I'm gonna stop going to games. But anyway, I didn't leave because they were stinking up the joint. I left because that's what I do. I don't stay past the third quarter. I usually leave halftime or right at the beginning of the third quarter. But anyway, and with 4 minutes left in the first half, they didn't have any passing yards on the board, the Eagles. They were 0 passing yards. Matter of fact, at one point they had negative yardage.
That's crazy.
Like a minus 1 yard late in the second quarter. And you're talking about the offense and it being stagnant. The defense didn't play well either the first half. And it wasn't necessarily schematics of the defense. Guys are blitzing. One's supposed to go outside. One's supposed to go inside the tackle or the guard. And they both end up going outside and running into each other. You got one guy blocking 2 guys. So they were not playing effective football. They weren't playing up to their capabilities. They were playing as though they didn't know what they were doing in the first half, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. They were making mistakes. Jalen does have somewhat, as far as I know, in watching him, Jalen does have some control of what plays are called. He has the ability to make checks, or a lot of checks, at the line, particularly on the RPOs and the options that they run. He makes a lot of decisions right there at lightning speed when the play is going on. When they started stinking up the joint, I think it was their second. They scored in the first half because of the Zach Bond's interception, and they got the ball deep in LA's territory, and they were able to score the touchdown. But their next possession, they were 3 and out. The next possession, I believe, they were 3 and out. The fans were booing in the first quarter. Philly fans, Doc, they were booing right away. What the heck is going on? Because they're running the ball. They were running the ball. One of the issues with them running the ball, obviously, like the both of you said, teams ain't having that now. They saw what they did. We saw what they did to the Rams last year twice, 255 yards, 205 yards. The Rams weren't having that. They're stacking the box. Kansas City did that in the Super Bowl. So Jalen's going to have to throw the ball. But when they are running the ball, I believe the reason why Saquon is not getting any yards is because they're running the ball in the between the guards. They're running the ball in the middle of the line of scrimmage instead of stretch route, doing stretch plays where Saquon can find a hole, either hit a hole where it's preferred or cut it all the way back. They were running the ball right down the middle into the teeth of the defense. Most of the running plays are trying to go right down the middle, which I'm like, what are you doing that for? Saquon's got speed. He can get outside. So that was one of the problems. When they weren't throwing the ball, I actually stopped watching the ball and I started trying to watch the route combinations. And I talked about it last week, Mike. Teams don't play Jalen Hurts man-to-man. They'll play that offense zone. Why? Because they play man-to-man. Jalen will take off. He's 20 yards down the field, and the DBs don't even know what's going on because their backs are to the quarterback because they're covering the wide receivers. So they play zone. And in order to, you all can chime in order to be successful in a zone defense with linebackers, safeties, and corners, you got to flood the zone in order to stretch the zone in order to make windows. And they weren't doing that. The pass combinations in the first half were just guys running goes, guys running deep routes. No crossing, nothing crossing. They ran a two-man route one time, the simple square in, post over the top. And A.J. Brown got the ball knocked down because he didn't settle down in the hole. He kept running. So things were discombobulated. I'm trying to figure out how you go from that to what the end result was. How do you play so bad and then turn things around? Because they didn't change the scheme or anything like that. They just started balling.
You know what though, Herb? I think then another thing that might be really may be an issue for their offense, because this new offensive coordinator, I don't know if he's ever had that luxury to call plays anywhere else.
No, it's his first time. He's a novice. This is his first time calling plays.
He's got to get used to his position.
Right.
He's got to get used, even though he's got the horses that was there last year when I can't think the guy that got the job for the Saints Kellen Moore was their offensive coordinator. He had a great feel for that position. Because
right.
Wasn't he the coordinator in Dallas before he came to Philly?
Yep, and did a great job at Dallas. Yep.
It might take him a minute to get adjusted to calling the plays, getting his strategy together based on the talent that he has there.
Right.
He knows he's got some talent there. I think that he's just got to get settled in his position. And that's another thing that's wrong with Detroit. When they lost both of their coordinators, their offense and their defense don't look the same as it did last year.
Right.
Because of the coordinators coming in. So that's going to give them I'm anxious to see what's going to happen with how they're going to look tonight too, as well, on both sides of the ball, playing up against a good Baltimore team.
Well, I'll talk about that in a little bit, but
you got to get settled and situated down with having that position and being able to call his game based on the talent that he has there.
Well, speaking of coordinators, well, not the coordinator, but the special teams coach. The special teams coach for the Rams needs to be fired. He needs to be seriously. He needs to be fired.
Two of them blocked.
Because he had two field goals back to back.
Yeah.
Blocked from the same area. Now, everybody knows, I don't know if you guys know who are watching right now, but we know, the ones who are on the show, myself, Mike, and Mark, we know if there's a mishap on the field, whether it's special teams, whether it's on offense, whether it's on defense, when we get to the sidelines, we're going over that, and we're going to get it corrected during the game. Matter of fact, they have little TVs little pads that they see it as it happened. We ain't had that kind of stuff. We had to draw it up. Coach had to see it, draw it up on a little board. They got the pads where you can actually see what happened. So they got to go to the sidelines and fix that, because that field goal for them that got blocked the first time would have given them the lead. Would have given the lead, and the second time it would have won the game for them. Would have won the game for them, but it got blocked. Big Daddy rolled. Big Daddy rolled on 18.5 miles an hour down the field. Jordan Davis in the house. It was a crazy game.
He looked like a bigger King Henry running down the field.
Yeah, but you know what? He's coming along because his rookie year he was out of shape, way overweight, couldn't play. He couldn't play half a game his rookie year. First round draft choice. people were really concerned about him and thinking he was a first-round bust going into last year, which was his second year. And I was saying, listen, dude, you need to get it together. And he played a little bit better. But this year, man, he lost weight coming in training camp. I think he lost 35 pounds. He looks different. And he's playing much, much better. And people were never talking about him. They were talking about Jalen Carter and the Eagles having to re-up him or redo his contract at the end of his rookie contract. Now they're talking about Jordan Davis, or they're going to do Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis at the same time. Nola Smith was in the conversation, but Nola Smith better play a whole lot better than Jordan Davis if he's going to try to get his money.
So, let me ask you a question. Since you was at the game, why was Jalen Hurts sacked 4 times? Is that room for concern? I know it's early.
Because
4 times he was sacked.
Lane Johnson went down.
Okay.
Lane Johnson went down, which was the right tackle. Lane Johnson is the not founder, but the foundation of that offensive line. They finally they put in, I can't remember his name, but they put another tackle in that they had cut a few times, and he wasn't holding it down. Then they put Fred Johnson in, and when they put Fred Johnson in, that's when things kind of leveled out and things got better. But that right tackle spot was suspect when Lane went down. So that's what was going on with that. I can't remember the guy's name that was in there that was messing up. He's a guy that they cut several times and brought back. But then every time Fred Johnson came in Fred came in last year when Lane got hurt and did a great job. I don't know why they didn't just put him in. Right. But when they did finally put Fred Johnson in, that's when things leveled off and they were able to have time to throw the ball. But listen, coming out in the second half, that first snap, the first possession for the Eagles, they fumbled the ball. Well, first of all, they couldn't field the kickoff. I don't know what was wrong with those guys. Mechie, they couldn't field the kickoffs. So we got the ball on the 9-yard line from the kickoff. Then Jalen, the first play, he throws a 2-yard pass to Saquon. Then the next play, Jalen gets sacked. He fumbles the ball. And then the Rams score. That's coming out the second half. So it looked like it was going to get worse. And they pulled it together. And won that game, man. Pryor's his name. Yeah, Pryor's his name. Thank you, Billy Bell. There was a guy named Pryor that they put in at the right tackle, and he sucked. He was horrible. I can say it. They don't pay me no money. Okay. We say what we want to say on this show, Mark. So let's talk about recap week 3, Chicago and Dallas. We still got a couple more minutes. Chicago and Dallas. What's your take on that, Mike?
Why is anybody surprised about Dallas? Okay, here's the problem. Defensively, let's go there first.
Yep.
The defensive coordinator is Matt Eberflus, who was the Bears head coach. So what he did, now he's at Dallas, he takes that same defense philosophy over to Dallas. Do you know that defense that he had in Chicago last year was ranked number 27? And guess who was just ahead of them? Dallas' defense last year was ranked number 28. So he's taking that mindset, that philosophy, over to Dallas and trying to do something new with cats that were there the prior year ranked 28. So there's no surprise to me that's their defense is as awful as it is right now. Number one, we know that there's no pass rush. Secondary is trash. And so they just got a lot of problems. The Bears, on the other hand, I'm happy for Caleb Williams. I'm happy that the head coach got a win. But where was he when they were playing the Vikings? Where was this when we were playing the Lions? That's the type of thing I'd like to see from Caleb Williams. But it's good. It's against the Cowboys. I keep it in perspective. Pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. He had the best game of his career, 4 touchdown passes, but it was the Cowboys. The Cowboys, again, like you said, they don't have a pass rush. They have no Micah Parsons. And not only that, but they can't stop the run. They don't have a pass rush, but they can't stop the run. The Bears put together a 19-play drive that had 11 consecutive run plays. It took 9 minutes and 54 seconds, and it ended with a 4th down touchdown pass. Fourth down touchdown pass. Now, who threw?
Tell me the name. Tell me the name of the Dallas Cowboys running back. Just tell
We
me
don't
the name.
know the Cowboys running back. Oh, is it Swift? Is it Swift? Is it
No,
Swift?
that's Chicago. That's Chicago.
Williams.
Chicago's.
What's his name?
His name's Williams, Mark?
I don't know his first name, but his last name is Williams.
How you know? How you know his name? You must know him.
Because my son got him on his fantasy team.
Oh, okay. I knew there was something there.
But I wasn't known it otherwise. You're right.
The Cowboy. Listen, Cowboys. It's and it starts with the top. Everybody knows this. It starts at the top. That's where it starts. Yeah. Jerry Jones don't care nothing about winning no football games. He just doesn't. He cares more about money than he does about winning football games. Because if he cared about winning football games, first of all, he would understand the salary cap and how the salary cap works. And he wouldn't take so long or wait till a guy's contract is almost up to sign him. You sign him before that. That way you structure it in a way it doesn't hit your cap so hard. And he doesn't care. He doesn't even understand that as an owner. You think he would study that, understand it, or at least hire somebody who understands it so they can make it work for the team, so they can acquire quality players. You got to pay these players. If you're going to have great players, you got to pay them big money. The Eagles, you talked about it, Mark. They're probably the most talented team in the league. They got a quarterback that's making $55 million a year. They have two receivers that are making upwards of $25 million a year. They have a running back that they just gave another contract to the offseason that's considered to be the best football player in the league. And they're all making big money. But Dak Prescott's cap number is higher than three of any one of those four. You put three of any one of those four, whether it's A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, or Saquon Barkley, put any three of those four together with their cap hits, those three are less than Dak Prescott's hit on the cap for the Dallas Cowboys. You can't win like that.
Because Jerry Jones thinks he's the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker, and he cannot be the owner and the general manager.
Right.
It's just not possible.
Because he doesn't understand how the cap works.
He doesn't care about no cap.
Well,
he doesn't
obviously,
understand. He doesn't care.
Right.
You're right, Michael.
It's my money. It's my money, and I do what I want to do.
It's my money. I do what I want to do. Richard Melton is in the house. What took you so long to get on, Richard? Richard Melton is our Bills. He's a Bills fan. He likes the Bills.
God bless him.
Hey, Richard, Mark Clayton, myself, and Michael Timpson, we were Bills killers.
That's right.
Yeah, we were Bills killers.
That's
so
right.
let's real quick. We got a couple minutes, or actually 1 minute left. Michael Timpson tries to do this. He wants to be at 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock.
We'll give you 5 minutes, Irv. We'll give you 5 minutes.
No, we just need Monday Night Football.
Because FCC may come get us, so we need to stick to the time frame.
FCC ain't gonna mess with us. We haven't monetized this show yet.
So Detroit at Baltimore tonight. The game's getting ready to come on. I'm gonna go with Baltimore. Detroit still ain't work out the issues with their coordinators. The coordinators ain't coordinating. I'm gonna go with Baltimore.
They don't have the mushrooms inside their jacket. Coordinate.
No, coordinate.
What do you think, Mark?
You know what though? I gotta go with Baltimore too. You know, I think that they really still trying to get that bad taste out of their mouth for that loss up in Buffalo right there that they had up by 15 with 4 minutes to go in the game and they lose that game. They should really be undefeated right now, but they realize this is a big game too. So I got to go with those Ravens tonight as well.
All right, I'm gonna say this, and you should know when I finish with this. That's a
Don't
good.
You say Detroit?
I'm not gonna say that. Just listen. I took some notes. I got up early this morning to take these notes. So it's Dan Campbell against John Harbaugh. Detroit, they dismantled the Bears last week, dropped 50 plus on them, right? The Ravens redeemed themselves. They both had lost. The Ravens redeemed themselves, kicking the Browns in the butt last week. So you got Lamar Jackson against Jared Goff. You got Derrick Henry against the two-headed monster, Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. This is going to be good, y'all. You got some good safeties on the Lions side, Kirby Joseph, and Brian Branch. And then you got Kyle Hamilton and that rookie sensation, Malachi Starks. They're both safeties. It's going to be a good matchup. But the Ravens, watch this now. The Ravens
Bring it home.
The Ravens are wearing all black. Woo! They call it the Black Falls. The Blackness Falls. That's what they call it when they wear their all black. Last year, when they put the all black on, they kicked the Buffalo Bills butt 35-10. They're 20 wins and 6 losses when they wear all black. They got home field advantage. It's going to be all black. The Ravens, y'all, all black. Understand this. The over-under, this for you DraftKings folks, the over-under is 53.5 total points. Since the start of the 2023 season, the Lions have averaged 30.3 points. The Ravens have averaged 30.1 points. That's 60.4 points. Take the over.
Boy, that brother did his homework. That brother did his homework.
Boy, look at you, boy.
The Ravens scored. Listen, the Ravens just scored 41 points in back-to-back games. 41-0 to 40 against the Bills. They lost. 41-17 against the Browns. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Take the over.
You did wake up early and doing your homework.
Yes,
man.
sir.
Look at you.
Take the over. Take the over.
Take the over. I agree.
And if nothing else, I told you, don't throw DraftKings name in there until they send us a check. Don't be doing that.
Well, I'm throwing DraftKings name in there so they can hear it, so they know we're interested. We open DraftKings. Come on. Bring it to Papa.
So they know how to get in touch with you.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. I'm just trying to get it out there. Hopefully somebody hears me and bets the over and wins, and then, it just snowballs from there.
You say you ain't hard to find?
I ain't hard to find. I ain't hard to find. Right here on YouTube, Wild House World. Wild House World. Well, listen, Mark, thanks for being with us today, bro.
Appreciate you, man.
I so appreciate that.
Tell your beautiful wife we said hi. You won't be there. Keith Jackson's having something down there hey, Bridget, how you doing, sweetheart? Good to see you. We doing all right. Hey, Mark, we got to make sure we do the show later because the sun's gone. You look good now, man. The sun's not beating you in the face. Yeah, it looks real good now. It looks real good. But thanks for being on, man. Listen, please stay open. We're going to bring you back on, I'm sure, at some point later on in the season. Particularly if something happens down there in Miami. What's your take on Tyreek Hill?
Well, I think that he needs to really get his priorities in order.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he's got a few off the field issues. I think that may be distracting him a little bit.
Right.
But
right.
I think eventually he'll get it together. I hope so anyway.
Because he was a constant threat to DBs, constant threat, touchdown waiting to happen, for the Miami Dolphins, even when he was with the Kansas City Chiefs. But now that glow has seemed to dull a little bit, and he's not quite, maybe it's the distractions, but he's not quite the player he was 2 years ago, so to speak. It's not because of injuries, but maybe because of all the distractions that are going on. And prayerfully, hopefully, he'll get it back together, and that team will begin to be as productive as they used to be a couple of years ago on offense.
Well, bro, I hope he does get it together because when he's playing at his top level, he's one of the best receivers in the league.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Anytime I'm here for you guys, anytime, man. Just call me, let me know, bro. I'm here for you.
We got you, bro. Appreciate you, y'all. That's Mark Clayton from the Miami Dolphins. He's being inducted into his high school Hall of Fame. After 46 years. Congratulations, man. Enjoy yourself while you're there and enjoy that award. You deserve it, brother. You deserve it.
Thank you, man. And hopefully I'll see you at the alumni game.
Oh, I don't know. They're not paying for it. I called Erica. They ain't paying for it, so I ain't coming. So
Well,
Keith Jackson. I'll let you know. Keith Jackson's having something before that. I'll be down in Miami. I don't know how frequently you go over there, but I'll let you know about it.
Okay, do that, my brother.
All right.
Hey,
All right.
Hey, Michael, man, good meeting you, man, and I'll
You
talk
too.
to you soon too as well, man. Be blessed.
All right.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Mark.
Thanks,
We
sir.
appreciate you, bro. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. We back in the house. That was Mark Clayton, y'all. We thank
Yes, sir.
him for being on today. It was a great show. Great show. We got to do
Cool.
that. I guess we got to do that more with more guests, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I got Mark to come
get your
on.
Rolodex
It's your-
out. Get your
it's your-
Rolodex
No,
out.
we might to see. I was going to say, I got Mark on. It's your turn.
You're older. That means you know more people.
That don't mean I know more people. You know people too. I may know more people, but you know people too. We're gonna have somebody
All
on
right,
next
we'll
week, y'all.
both work on it. Yes,
We'll
sir.
work on it.
Don't
We'll
make
get
that
somebody.
promise. You can't. Okay.
What do you mean?
We'll work on it.
We can have somebody on next week. Yes, we will. If it ain't nobody but me and you. Y'all, thanks for watching. Let me shout out everybody. Richard Melton's in the house. Let me get my cursor over here. Richard Melton's in the house. Thank you so much. I didn't see anybody ask any questions. Eddie Casper said, hope Jerry
time.
Jones lives forever. That's because the Eagles can keep winning. Billy Bell, Eddie Casper, Richard Melton, Vincent Capriati's in the house. Luther Burden III. I don't know who that is. Are you talking about the
That's the receiver. That's the receiver from Chicago.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's the
Stuart
receiver from
Winrow's in the house. Mark Gundry. I don't have your shirt on today, Mark. I played golf today, too. I need to go take a shower because I don't smell very well right
Don't
now.
tell nobody, man. Don't tell.
What?
You gotta go take a shower.
I'm just an honest guy. That's all. Mama,
Taking
what's Mama's in the house. Dawn is in the house. Hey, Dawn. Stu Winrow's in the house. I said Eddie Casper. I said PJ Dolan. I don't know if you're still there or not. Shout out to you, my brother. Y'all, don't forget to share us. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to tell people about Wideout's World here on YouTube every Monday night at 7 p.m. We give it to you fresh and new right after the games on Sunday. Right, Mike?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wideout's World.
Peace out.
All right, y'all. We'll see you next
Are you
week.
gonna hit the button with your hands up? Oh, you gotta.
I
put your
can
hands
hit
up.
it with this one.
This has been Wideout's World. Touchdown. The legends, Irving Fryar and Michael Timpson. Are you freaking kidding me? If it's football talk you're looking for, I think we've got you covered. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find us on YouTube at Wideout's World. See you next time.
Let's go! Let's go! 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 Go!